This is my husband. All right, we are recording. Okay, I just wanted to introduce you guys to Adam Smith. You all probably see him on social media showing, me posting pictures of him and stuff. But I just wanted Adam to get on here and share a little bit of his side of our Beachbody journey over the past 3 years. So Adam, we've been married for 12 years next month, a long time. We only knew each other for 2 or 3 months before he proposed to me. So it was kind of like a fast proposal. We have lived in 3 different states over the past 12 years. We have 3 kids, and Adam actually just graduated with his bachelor's in health education at UVU. He finished school in December, but they didn't have graduation until just a couple of weeks ago. So I made him walk because he was in school for 6 years. So I was like, you are walking no matter what. So I kind of forced him to do that. And I think he's glad he did. So he's been teaching health for this semester at a charter school, and then he was just offered a full-time position this fall at the charter school, so we're excited for that, and it's just really close to here where we already are. So yeah, I'll just turn it over to you.
Okay. So Crystal put down a few things that she wanted me to talk about, and all my little notes here that I'll be referring to, it's basically just trying to respond the best to those things that she wanted me to talk about. So I just want to start with talking about when Crystal started Beachbody. I was an EMT working in Salt Lake City on an ambulance for less than $10 an hour. And I was working 50 plus hours a week, but $10 an hour doesn't get you too far. And even with all the hours I was putting in and working nights and taking out student loans, money was pretty tight. We knew that there were going to be upfront costs and even recurring monthly costs if we started doing this Beachbody thing. And I decided that we could test the waters for about 3 months. And basically at that point, if she wasn't breaking even, then we wouldn't be able to do it anymore. So unbeknown to me though, at that time, Crystal didn't just dip her toes in to this Beachbody thing. She decided to jump all in, head first and with all her clothes on. And that's what she did. And, within 3 months, obviously, she not only was breaking even, but started to make a little income. I was going to school full time, like I said, working nights. I was going to school all day, working all nights, working 12-hour shifts. And I took our one computer that we had to work those 4 nights because I had homework to do. And if I was home for those 3 nights that I was home, I was usually on the computer, on our one computer, doing homework or taking tests or writing papers. And so Crystal used her phone to start this business. That's all she had. Okay, so everything Beachbody related she did on her phone. She maybe had the computer for a couple hours each week. And like I said, before 3 months up, she was obviously making a little bit of income, doing more than just breaking even. Now, honestly, I remember thinking, well, this is cool. An extra $100 to $200 a month will be nice. That'll go really far. Money won't be as tight. So that's as far as I thought at the beginning. $100 to $200 extra bucks a month. This is cool. But Crystal began using the phrase personal development. She began talking about things like ruby, diamond. I didn't know what she was talking about. And for the first time since I had known her, she started reading books. And so I knew that changes were happening. No offense to her, that was the first time I had seen her open a book. And so she kept doing this Beachbody thing. She created a vision board, all right? She put goals on that, things that she wanted in our future. And there were definitely times where we would start watching a movie at night and she'd be on her phone and I would get a little annoyed, right? I was already only home 3 nights a week. One of those nights was spent in recovery mode. I would fall asleep by 7 at night, okay, catching up on the last 4 nights, the little sleep that I got at work. And another night would be spent doing homework, some sort of school-related whatever. Okay, so my 1 night a week that I got to spend with my wife, it was frustrating for me if she would get on her phone. And I felt like I was in competition with that phone for a little bit. But really, though, there wasn't any competition. Okay, I just had to get used to having a spouse that worked. We had, before that time, been a very traditional family. Call us old school, where Crystal was the cleaner, the cook, okay, the nanny, took care of the kids, bussed them around, cooked dinner, did laundry, okay. She did everything. And I was the big tough man that went and earned the money. So I had to get used to that. And she was amazing, right? She was always supporting me. No matter how many times I changed majors, I changed jobs, or I wanted to move, okay, Crystal always supported me. So now it was all of a sudden my turn to take a step back and realize I need to do a little supporting. And as time went on, we weren't so stressed about money. She was making more than just $100 to $200 a month. Okay, that number continued to grow. And it's not all about money, right? But we had a great relationship, and like most people, one thing that could bring a dark cloud into our house would be finances, would be that stress over money. But not anymore. Okay, and it's because of Beachbody. Crystal would talk about success points. And again, I don't know what she's talking about most of the time at the beginning. She continued to read books, okay, these personal development books. And then all of a sudden, one day she talks about that we got off some list to go on a cruise. And neither of us had never been on a cruise, okay? She was working really hard, and I can tell that she really enjoyed it. And we did get to go on that cruise, and it was a lot of fun. But anyway, we've always been into trying to maintain some sort of appearance of health. Okay, ever since we had met. We had done the original P90X program long before any idea of coaching came from it. We were into good nutrition and weightlifting and running. And now Crystal was doing something that helped other people to get healthy as well. She would show me pictures of her challengers and their transformations. And the results were amazing. Some of the people I knew. I saw these before and after pictures and read what these people would tell to Crystal, how grateful they were that she helped them get to that point. People were getting results, and they were transforming their lives because of the support that Crystal helped give them. She wasn't just selling some crap that people need or that people thought that they needed. She was providing something of value. I did door-to-door sales. Okay, I sold security alarms, and I made great money. But after a while, I realized I'm selling crap. People don't need this alarm. It's a glorified noisemaker, and I couldn't sell it anymore. It didn't have any value to me. It didn't have any value to the people that I was trying to sell it to. But Crystal was transforming lives. And it's been amazing to see. Crystal has reminded me every day not to quit because of failure. And she started doing this because she started reminding me because of the Beachbody business. Okay, she's reminded me every day not to quit because of failure. I've failed over and over. Okay, I've failed in the gym. I've failed at jobs. I've failed classes. I've had to retake classes. And the biggest failure that I had actually led to us having to declare bankruptcy. Probably the lowest point in my life. I had to move in with my parents. We moved back to Maine. Some of you might know this story. And we lived there trying to scrape together the pieces and, for 9 months. Lowest point in my life. But Crystal always supported me. Crystal has been the perfect example of never giving up, of believing in your dreams and believing of what she wanted for our family. And again, it's been amazing to watch. More than the money, more than the trips, more than the excitement of success, okay, watching her confidence grow has been the best thing. Ever since I met her, she was pretty shy. She's one of the only girls that I had to call more than once to go out with me, okay? What? Hurt my pride? But, she used to avoid talking in crowds. Not anymore. She's not shy anymore. And we've come to know that, and not to sound cliche, but failure is a part of success. Okay, we've learned that it's a part of the process. Crystal has failures every day with rejections, and some of them sting more than most, or more than others, rather. But she overcomes those failures. She overcomes those objections, those rejections, okay, gets back on the horse. And I just want, the question that I want to ask everyone and that I ask myself every day is, am I living my dreams? Are you living your dreams? And because of Beachbody, we are closer, and we're living more dreams than we could have possibly dreamed of 3 years ago because of Beachbody. Even before we got married, we were dreamers. And we'd go online. I don't know if every couple does this. We would go online and we'd look at $1 million homes. And we would talk about how much land we want to own, what we want to do with that land, the cars that we'll have, okay, what we want for our family. And we would dream big. We would dream crazy goals, crazy dreams. And at one point, I gave up on those dreams because failure after failure. Crystal never did. And she just made them even bigger. She helped me have faith in my dreams again. And she learned how to do this because she saw success with Beachbody, because she worked hard with Beachbody. Also important to remember, I wanted to talk about was resiliency. And okay, you have to be resilient. You'll find a lot of skeptics in this business. You'll find a lot of people that won't support you. But just remember the word yet. And again, not to sound cliche. I know you can find stuff like this, motivational speeches and whatnot, but it's so true. Don't forget the word yet. People aren't supporting you yet. Okay? People aren't interested yet. You won't always feel or even be supported in this business. But be resilient. Okay? Don't let anything stop you. I've never signed up as a coach. Okay? And Crystal hasn't let that stop her. Just because your spouse doesn't sign up as a coach doesn't mean they don't support you. A Beachbody will always have its critics. It's like religion. Religion will always have its critics. All right? You can go online and find convincing arguments that Beachbody is a scam. You can go online and you can find convincing arguments that, and I don't care what your religious views are, you can go online and find that there's convincing arguments of why you shouldn't believe in God. Okay, why you shouldn't do Beachbody. Why you should quit school. And they'll be convincing, but you can find just as many who support those things, and probably more. Okay, every successful person has had and still has critics. That's the truth. And unfortunately, a lot of times, it's those people who are closest to you that are your biggest critic. I don't know why that is. I've heard people say it before, and now I've seen that it's true. So many times, and it's sad again, but the people closest to you are often the biggest critics. But I would say remember why you're doing this. And if you don't know or you forgot, figure it out. Okay, you have the chance to help so many people. You get compensated for it. Okay, don't forget your why. The why you're doing this. Not everyone wants your help yet. I don't know how many times Crystal has come to me and said, remember so-and-so 6 months ago who was like angry that I offered them the chance to buy a challenge pack or to coach. Well, this person is coming back to me now. They want to sign up as a coach. And maybe it's someone here. I don't know, right? But just remember the word yet. Remember your why. Is Beachbody a scam? Okay, what is your definition of a scam? I looked it up today. It said a dishonest scheme, a fraud. I have seen results from Beachbody programs in my own personal body. I have seen the benefits from Shakeology in my own personal body. I've seen the health benefits in others, their transformations. Our life has changed because of Beachbody. In June, I think 2016, last year, after less than 3 years since being a Beachbody coach, Crystal was making more than me. After 6.5 years of me being an EMT. So here I am, 6.5 years EMT, small raises every year, obviously. 3 years of Crystal being a Beachbody coach, working from home, starting a business for the first 6 months on her phone, and all of a sudden her income is more than mine. And guess what? I quit my job. And there's a country song that talks about telling your boss to go and shove it. That's what I did. And thanks to Crystal and Beachbody and her hard work, okay, I was able to do that, and it was the best feeling ever. And it was the perfect supervisor was on that night too. That's another story.
Add this disclaimer. Beachbody does not guarantee any, success without your hard work and diligence. I have to throw that out there.
Okay, but I was able, at that time, I was almost done school. I was able to focus on my student teaching. Is that a scam? Okay, multi-level marketing models, they traditionally make money for those at the top. They call it a pyramid scheme, call it an MLM, whatever you want, right? They traditionally make money at the top, and they traditionally make money for those who got in early. Beachbody, okay, Crystal didn't get in early. Crystal wasn't either of those. She didn't create Beachbody. She wasn't one that got in early as a coach. But she has proven that you can find so much success by working hard in this business. Okay, she showed me the other day, is this okay to say? She showed me the other day how much she made in the first 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, over the first 3 years, she's made 6 figures doing Beachbody. Okay, now, there's just one problem with that, all right? I've had to accept that I won't be the breadwinner. And guess what? I am 100% fine with that. Because now I've found so many things that I have time for. I found things that I enjoy that I never knew that I would enjoy. I enjoy cooking. I enjoy cooking meals for my family, provided my kids aren't in the kitchen. All right? I love spending time with my kids. I knew that before, but now I have more time to do it. I love focusing on what I enjoy. I love focusing on my passions, and that's teaching health right now. I love being in the classroom teaching health, talking about all the different aspects of health. Not just physical, but mental, spiritual, environmental, social, emotional. I love it. And I wouldn't be able to do this right now if it wasn't for Crystal's success. Crystal makes all this possible. Beachbody makes this possible. You've heard it time and time again, and it's true. It changes lives. But just like anything, it takes work and effort. Whether you have the support or not, it's going to take your work and effort. For a long time, I would hide my failures. So now I'm going to switch and I'm going to talk a little about vulnerability, okay, and failing. For a long time, I would hide my failures. Why in the heck would I want others to know that I failed at something? Okay, that makes me vulnerable. That makes me uncomfortable. That's not how I grew up. That's not how I've lived my life. It's just putting my failures on the table. That's not a comfortable feeling for very many people. But there is so much power in vulnerability. Everything good in our life actually comes from vulnerability. Think about it. All right? The best friends that you had to be vulnerable with. And now you're comfortable being vulnerable with them. But at one time, it wasn't always comfortable. Your best relationships come because you're vulnerable with those people. All right? Your faith in anything, whether it's a God, whether, it's a job, whether it's school, whatever, it's not going to grow unless you're vulnerable. Okay? If you want to accomplish something, you have to put yourself out there. You have to be vulnerable. I took some acting classes in college. I took one. I had to choose an elective, right? I took this acting class, and I loved it and taught me how to be vulnerable. It was just the beginning. I took many more acting classes and theater classes after that just because I all of a sudden loved that feeling of being vulnerable and that knowing that the people around me were okay with it. Acting taught me how to be vulnerable and how to appreciate it. If you've never heard or read any of Brene Brown's work, Brene Brown on vulnerability, you could YouTube her right now and listen to her stuff on vulnerability if this isn't making sense to you. There is power in vulnerability. Don't be scared of vulnerability. Don't be scared to feel vulnerable and feel uncomfortable. Take an acting class, okay? You'll learn vulnerability, and you might even learn to enjoy it. But those are the things that, I feel like Crystal wanted me to cover. And right now, I don't know who you're putting up for questions, but that's about all I have.
Awesome. All right. Do you guys have any questions for Adam? That was awesome. I'm all fired up, and I get to hear him talk every day. So if you have any questions, you can just unmute yourselves. I don't know if you guys are, if your spouses have struggled with you doing certain things with Beachbody, you can ask Adam, and because I'm sure he's gone through it. Just with me, I know a lot of people struggle with scheduling, scheduling a time to work your Beachbody business. So you have that family time, you have your Beachbody time, and you also have that time with your spouse or significant other. So I don't know if you want to talk about that, because I know there's times where, like you mentioned, he would feel frustrated when we'd be watching TV and I'm on my phone. But I also feel like over the years, I've kind of, found the time to work, and I've kind of found the time to, spend time with family and also with Adam. I could still use some work, but I don't know.
Well, I guess at the beginning, there were times where I ask what's for dinner, and, Crystal says, I don't know, cereal or oatmeal. And it'd be frustrating again, because we came from that traditional family, and she always cooked our dinners. But what a small price to pay. Okay. And Crystal, she couldn't cook dinner because there was a team call. And that was when I didn't know what a team call was. But again, a small price to pay. And that's part of the reason maybe why I started cooking too, because I was like, well, Crystal, this is kind of a prime time for her to be able to help her coaches, help her challengers. So I have this time. Why don't I just start learning a few meals? I created a Pinterest account, right? I admit that to my guy friends now. And what's funny is when I allow that vulnerability, when I open that up, 90% of the guys are like, I actually have one too. And we're just like, we instantly get a little closer. We strengthen that bond. All right? So it's funny.
His meals are awesome too. But I mean, I do remember, him coming home at sometimes, and I was, home all day, but I was working, and I was also chasing our two boys around most of the day. But I remember him coming home one day, not to throw you under the bus or anything, but he got mad because, like, you know, like he said, we were used to having our house spick and span, but when he came home, there was dirty dishes everywhere. And I just remember him getting so frustrated. So for me as a spouse,
Thanks, make me sound like a real a-hole.
No, but I mean, this is real things. Like, this is what other spouses go through. But, you know, like, but for me, I saw his frustration and I saw, okay, this is what I could do better and more balancing, is to get those kind of things done before I work my Beachbody business. You know, your family is your first priority. So take care of your family first. And so you know, that also makes me happy, is when my house is clean as well. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have any questions. We can open it up, but
I just feel like it's a time management thing.
Yeah.
And it might feel like a sucker punch to some, but it is priorities, and family is priority, of course, right?
Yeah.
But then it's what are the other priorities in our life? I meet people all the time. I feel like I'm in pretty good shape, and I enjoy my time in the gym. And I'll have people come to me, and they won't even ask me if I work out. They'll just say, "What do you do to work out?" And I'll start talking to them, and I'm too busy for that. I'm too busy for that. It's like, well, dude, it's all about priorities. You know what? If you have to get up at 4 a.m. to work out, then you get up at 4 a.m. to work out. It's what's driving you. Set that priority, you know, a little time management, and what you want to accomplish that day, you will accomplish. You won't accomplish everything, but you'll accomplish the most important if you make things priority. Again, sucker punch to some, I know. I remember running around crazy, working, school, but you get done what you need to get done, what you want to get done.
Yeah. And, you know, I have had to make a lot of sacrifices too. So, you know, spending that quality time with my family, instead of going to the park, Adam would be like, why don't you just stay home and, you know, catch up on your emails that you need to do or whatever. And it was, you know, it kind of got into, you know, him helping me and supporting me. But I was also making some sacrifices as a mom, taking that time away from my family to also build this business. So, you know, you kind of have to pick the things, but yeah. Do you guys have any questions? Do you want me to unmute you all? I know some of you have questions.
Why won't you sign up as a coach?
I was going to ask that too.
I don't know. At this point, it's probably just an issue of pride. I don't know. We're on the Dominican Republic trip, and we're joking down there that I'm going to sign up under my brother-in-law, just to see if Crystal sticks around if I do. Right? But no, at this point, I don't really know anymore. Except that when I sign up, I want to be able to have the time to actually put some work in behind my name, if that makes sense. I don't want my name on something that I'm not doing anything with. That's just me. So when I feel like I'm more ready to be able to put some time forth and some effort, then I'll put my name on something, and I'll definitely sign up as a coach.
Under me.
We'll have a raffle.
I don't know. Maybe he'll sign up under you, Jessica.
Sounds good to me.
But yeah, that was also a frustration for me, because I look at that and, you know, I think of the money, you know, and I say, well, I could be making, you know, easily more money if you were a coach, because I could build him.
What? You think making more?
But I also have to respect him and what he's wanting to do, right? So I knew that no matter what, if he signed up or not, I would still be a successful coach. I would still be building this business because there's still a lot of young girls that don't have a significant other or boyfriend or a spouse or whatever that build this business and are successful at it. So I knew that I could do it without him, but it would be nice to have him.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Guys, did any of your kids ever resent or express frustration seeing mom working at home or not going to family activities?
Yeah. Our oldest, she would always tell me, she still tells me, Mom, you're always on your phone. And I always just have to remind her and set that, out there to her that this is my job. I've been supporting us for the past year. Yeah, Adam has been working as a student teacher, but his income is, like $1,000 a month. So I'm still supporting and paying most of all the bills. So I had to, I still have to explain that to my daughter, and I still try to not be on my phone as much as around her. But yeah, we've had that, and I don't know, do you want anything to add to that?
Just they've had the shift. They had to experience that shift. All of a sudden, mom isn't here all the time. Mom isn't available all the time. But at the same time, with part of that shift, it brought, it gave me the chance to really step up and be more of a dad. I don't feel like I was a bum dad before, but I definitely am able to spend more time with my kids than I used to, whether it's simple things like driving them to friends' houses or to games or practices, or cooking the meals. They've made the shift with not having mom, but they've made the shift with having a little more dad.
Yeah. Which I think was hard too, because like Adam had mentioned, he was working a lot of the time, and he probably only saw the kids, I don't know, very little every single week when he was going to school and working time and sleeping. And so, kind of that shift from mom to dad was a little bit for him. But I mean, my daughter, she has all my kids actually have a really good relationship with Adam. So it just kind of was a little different at first. But.
Right. Okay.
Any other questions, you guys? Anything you want?
Anything that, like, how did you guys, you said it was like a shift, you had to get used to it, but like did you guys communicate? Did you guys, or was it just sort of like, okay, she's doing that now, so we'll just all adjust? Like, what did you guys do?
To ultimately teach the kids like what the changes are, or what do you mean? Did we communicate this with the kids?
I guess it's for your family. If I try and communicate to my husband and say like, I need more time to work, can you help with the kids? He's like, he's just like, why? Did you guys ever have a conversation like that? And like, what did Crystal say back? And how did you guys, but maybe you guys didn't. Like, maybe you're just like, okay, cool.
I can't remember any like specific time we sat down and talked about, okay, this is our new life. This is our new schedule. But I know that there were definitely times where we talked, and one thing that we learned is that that Crystal learned about me is that I don't do well with things that are thrown at me an hour before. Like, I don't like that kind of change. I have a schedule in my mind of how the rest of my day is going to go. So one thing that Crystal learned is, this was good for both of us, right? If she knows certain nights that she has calls lined up with somebody or calls like this, and so she let me know at the beginning of the week. And yeah, there's still times where she'll tell me in the morning, hey, tonight I'm going to be on a call from 7 to 8 or 6 to 7 or whatnot. But, 3 years down the road, 6 figures later, I'm a little more okay with it. But at the beginning, it was hard. We just had to learn that we need to let each other know what our schedules are. We need to create a schedule. And I know we had that conversation multiple times.
I also feel this is off the subject too, but this just came to me. I also hear from a lot of other coaches as well. You're putting all these hours in, but you're getting very little income, right? So how was that for you? Like seeing all the hours I was putting in, but I was, maybe bringing in an extra $100 a week or, $200 a week.
It's like $100 a month.
Yeah. Or $100 a month. But I was working a lot of hours. I put a lot more hours in when I first started coaching as to.
I don't know. I don't remember my thoughts at the time, really. Crystal was always talking about growing the business. And again, I knew very little. I didn't know what a ruby or a diamond or a star or whatever, a challenger or whatever any of this was. But Crystal was talking about building a business. And sometimes she would sneak in videos. I think she would just turn up the volume of something that she was watching about Beachbody and what other people were doing to help transform other people's lives. That makes sense. Whether it was in a physical sense or an income type sense. And I began to realize the potential that the business had.
Yeah.
And it was in a different way of not just, again, it wasn't selling crap. It was, we are actually selling something that helps people in their life. We're not selling snake oil. Most people probably know what I mean by snake oil. Okay. And that combined with that little bit of income, even though if it was just a little at the beginning, just helped me realize again that there's potential in this. Crystal's happy doing it. There's potential in it. And we're actually helping people. So how much could I complain at that point? As you're talking to somebody who worked on an ambulance for almost 7 years and saw very little of my efforts do any good. And no offense to anyone who works EMS, thank you, right? But it's a hard job because you don't see the potential good that you might be doing. Crystal was actually doing something that was providing a lot of value for people. And again, she was happy doing it. So who am I to question?
I have a comment about that.
Yeah.
For me, I kind of like how you say, you're doing all this work, but you're bringing in very little. And, some of you know that for me, it wasn't about there's some people like Crystal, you were like the sole provider. And so it was like, I have to do this. And for me, it wasn't about that. I didn't have to do it. And so sometimes that was a struggle for me because I didn't have to. But my husband has been super supportive in it, in the fact that he sees what it's done for me. And, even if I'm bringing in a small amount of money, he sees what the changes that I've made in myself and what it does for my family, like my kids and, everything, everyone around me. It just lifts them up because I am just better because of it. So I think that is huge in the spouse being supportive, just seeing that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the personal development is definitely huge. And, whoever created that aspect in Beachbody model is genius isn't the right word, but what an amazing thing. Like you said, to see that personal development, to see that growth is just awesome.
Adam sends me personal development every day.
Well, and we send each other stuff. It's like, hey, I saw this awesome video of this quote or whatnot, and it pumps you up. It pumps you up not just to be a Beachbody coach, but to be a better person, to recognize your value, your worth, to recognize your potential, to recognize your dreams.
We'll be out in just 1 second.
I like that comment. That's awesome, because that's so true.
Yeah. Anyone else have any questions or anything you want to add? Awesome. Well, thank you, Adam, for doing this call. I was super excited to ask him to do this call because I know he has a lot to offer, not only to myself, but to you guys as well, and hopefully to your spouses and significant others. But hopefully you guys got a lot of takeaways from it. And yeah, we'll see you guys around. Thanks for getting on. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.